Hey everybody, John Felt here. This is the Blue Water Outlook Weekly Weather Briefing for May 10th. I think there are going to be two themes this week, or two focuses. One is going to be record hot temperatures across many parts of the nation, and the second will be very heavy flooding rain in the southeast. Let's get started. Well, first off, some of the threats this week. You can see the southeast U.S. for excessive rainfall, areas of hazardous heat, and with the winds and the heat, fire danger as well. Now last week we had severe storms scattered over the area. Now remember, this is really peak severe storm season, May, and Oklahoma and Kansas and Nebraska and Iowa, areas that typically get a lot of severe storm activity, didn't get much at all last week. It was centered over the south central U.S. and the eastern U.S. In addition, we had quite a bit of snow, up to 3 feet. Look at that, Pikes Peak, 31 inches over the Rockies here. Now, as far as temperatures go, we had above normal temperature departures, especially these areas in red, which were 10 to 15 degrees above normal. We're going to continue that trend this week with record high temperatures in the upper Midwest. Now, the central U.S., where we had some rain, temperatures below normal. Texas, West Texas, Texas Panhandle, 5 to 10 degrees below normal. Now the hottest temperatures, usually you see this area of yellow and red way over this area, but that was tampered down. And yellow is 85, so we got into the 80s and even near 90 in this region. Blues here are only temperatures, high temperatures in the 50s or 60s. Now as far as dew point goes, the higher dew points are hugging the coast at this time. But that's going to change. I'm going to show you some interesting statistics later this week, how that humidity is going to affect the eastern U.S. Now we take a look at the precipitation last week. This was in the form of snow. You can see that here. But it looks like the south central U.S., especially Louisiana, with 6 inches or more of rain. Parts of the northeast U.S., Boston and areas up in the northeast, New England, 3 to 5 inches of rain, even locally higher in some of the higher elevations. Okay, so we take a look at the current rivers. What we have here is that flood wave that came down the Ohio and then came down the lower Mississippi is now way down here over the far lower Mississippi. The rain we had recently has brought high flows up into the northeast as well, generally high within bank or minor flooding. The moderate and major flooding is associated with that heavy rain in Louisiana, especially the tributaries. Okay, so this week we're either going to be under this high pressure and we're going to have unusually hot weather, or you're going to be affected by the low pressure and get a lot of rain. And by midweek, well, that high pressure shifts into the central U.S. and up actually into the northeast. This area, next area of low pressure, is going to sort of cut off the high temperatures in the upper Midwest. And you can see that here. Take a look at the red here. This is 10 to 20 degrees above normal as we start the week. As we end the week, it's going to be below normal. So big temperature swings in the upper Midwest. Take a look at the eastern U.S. That heat pushes into the eastern U.S. by the end of the week. Okay, so give you an example here. Take a look at Bismarck. That is going to get into the 90s on Sunday and Monday. Now this is Bismarck, North Dakota. And then as we get back towards Friday, it's only going to be a high of 56. So we're going to go well above normal starting the week to below normal by the end of the week. Lots of records this week. Look at this weekend. Not only in California and parts of the inner region here, the Rockies, but we also have the north central U.S. hot temperature records, and then as we get towards Wednesday, you can see them in this region. Now this plot here, this is a table, shows all the forecast records. What's interesting is these are high temperature records, but these are high minimum temperature records. So look at Sunday, 25, and Friday, 42. And if you want to look at Friday, look at the eastern, central, and eastern U.S. These are all high minimum temperature records. So for example, looks like around Louisville, 71 degrees for a low temperature. So we're going to really feel the humidity increasing over parts of the eastern U.S. Now, what about rain this week? Well, that low pressure here is going to affect the southeast U.S. with multi-days of rain. It looks like we're looking at 3 to 5 inches of rain. That's going to cause tributary flooding and also rises on main stem rivers. A little bit of rain up in the north central U.S. Other than that, it looks like a pretty quiet week. Now, finally, let's look at week 2. That warm air here, you can see here in the 6 to 10 day, sort of lingers over the eastern U.S. and along the Gulf. And then maybe as we get towards late week, next weekend in week 2, we start to get a little bit more active over the central U.S. again. Anyway, I think the main story, like I started off, unusually hot temperatures, many records being set this week, and a very wet southeast U.S. Take care.